Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to this week's You Don't Know What You Don't Know 365 in 365 webcast with myself, Trevor Shoemakers, and Roland Leggett from HubOne, Mr. Office 365. Roland, you're there?
Yes, Trevor, good morning. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the You Don't Know What You Don't Know session this week. Thanks very much for joining us, Trevor. So, guys, what we're going to be talking about this morning is a continuation from the awesome session that we had last week around Skype for Business. So, last week we started on tips and tricks about Skype for Business, a better way to communicate and collaborate with people in your organization. So as we move to activity-based working, we need to make sure that we've got tools that allow us to talk to people, choosing the best modality for that communication. So I'm going to use this term modality quite a bit through the session today. And when I'm referring to different modalities, I'm just talking about different modes of communication. We are stuck with emailing people. I mean, Trevor, you see that. I mean, how many emails do you get a day? When I was at Microsoft, I'd clock about 150 emails a day.
And how many were just like back and forths and so forth like that you just really want a quick IM on and so forth like that. So I must admit, my emails internally are dropping rapidly because of Skype for Business. So we use it we use it a lot in HubOne, and
Yes.
And therefore my emails are dropping a fair bit, and we probably could even use it more
I
after
think
this week's
so. I
session as
mean,
well.
and that's what this week's session is for. I often ask people, does anybody not get enough email? And in like the 10 years I've been asking that question, I've yet to have somebody put up there and say, you know what, I really want to get more email. That's what, my game to help increase productivity is to increase the amount of email in my inbox. That's my goal. That nobody, in 10 years, nobody has said to me, yes, I want more email. So when we're talking about different modalities, is the best mode for that particular piece of communication, maybe between Trevor, myself, or Julian, is to have a group conversation just involving instant message? Or do we need to escalate that to a voice session or a voice and video session, like a video conference like we're doing now? Content sharing, document sharing, co-author or collaborating. So what we can do is we can start out with a limited type of communication that doesn't monopolize your modality of communication. So if I'm talking on the telephone, for example, I can only be doing that with one person at any one time. However, if I'm having an IM or instant message chat session, at the moment, just looking at my desktop, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chat sessions on the go right now.
No.
So I've got one voice conversation, but I've got 8 chat sessions that I've had on the go this morning. And that's for me to have between 10 and 15 chat sessions on a go at any one time with people inside and outside of my organization is pretty much the norm. So just choosing the right modality of communication.
So let's run through a few of the things that we covered off last week and see if we can quickly get ourselves to where we were last week. So those who weren't on the call, maybe you can go back and have a look at our other session from last week. So I'll let you to drive the slides.
Awesome,
because
thanks.
guess what, everybody? I've followed Roland's instructions. I've got the slide is now part of the content of the presentation. So it makes it a lot easier for us to work together on.
There's different ways of doing things. So when you present, you can either present your desktop, you can present a PowerPoint, or you can upload the content into the video session, which is one of the things that we spoke about last week. So getting the right people in the room for a meeting, getting the right people in the virtual meeting room, which is this conference environment, is key to having a successful meeting and meeting your business objectives outlined for the meeting. Sometimes we have amazing meetings with the salespeople and they were like, great meeting. And I said, and I normally say, thank you for getting the right people in the room to be able to have the discussion. Finding the right people inside or outside of your organization is as simple as clicking the little icon of a person with the plus symbol next to them and adding someone, normally with their email address. It's not all the time, but normally someone's email address is also their Skype for Business address. Doesn't have to be, and I'm just going to highlight that, but take a chance. If you added Roland at HubOne.com, you would say this contact is outside of my organization, and you would just have to put in ROLAND at HubOne.com, and I would light up like a Christmas tree. In this case, I'd be turning red on your Skype for business session, but in about half an hour, I'll be turning green because I would have finished this particular call, and therefore I am green for go. I'm available to communicate with.
So get going. Let's get moving on these slides. Can you click them, Roland?
Yep, I got them. Okay, so finding someone inside or outside your organization. If you're in Office 365, your goal today is to add Roland, Nick, Trevor, one of the guys at HubOne that you communicate with, to your Skype list and send them a chat session during this presentation. Let's see how we go with that. I'm going to keep an eye out. I can see part of the team here. Let's see who's chatting to us. So if you look at the guys in HubOne at the moment, most of them have a present status of busy. The reason why they have a present status of busy is we've all got them booked on this session, and from their Outlook calendar it is feeding through that they are not available, they are busy at the moment. So we can still send them an instant message. We can change our presence to Do Not Disturb, but if you're on busy, we can still start a chat session with them. And when we're talking about the modalities of communication, to recap, on last week, we've got chat, telephony, video conferencing, contact, email. What is going to be the best way of communicating with that particular person? So, any questions at this stage, guys? This is a very quick recap of what we did last week. If there's any questions, we can put them into the IM window. So we've got an IM window that we've got there, and we can put them into the IM window.
I can control that, and I can allow IM.
All right.
So, Roland, just double checking, when you're clicking those buttons, I've had to take over and click that. I don't think we're presenting the same thing, but I beg to differ. It wasn't changing.
I can take over as presenter here.
Yeah, I think that's what we needed.
All right. Yep. And one of the things that I wanted to do with taking over as presenter is, in this conference call, we're starting an ad hoc conference call. Trevor, you and I did this morning. We started on a chat session, and then we were just typing too much. And I thought, you know what? Let's just escalate that, or elevate it, or escalate it, use whatever term you want, to a different mode of communication that allows more words. Trevor and myself could both talk underwater, right? So it's not a problem for us. You know, neither of us are great typists, but we can both talk underwater. So we started maybe 2 minutes, chat with IM while I had my other 7 or 8 conversations on the go. Then we went, boom, straight away to a Skype call. Okay? And the options that are available are dependent on things like PBX integration. Okay, we can also convert an IM session into a meeting, and this is now saying I've moved from a chat session using texting and instant messaging to voice, and now I'm going to move to video, where we're going to present content. Okay, so Trevor's got a session there saying, hi, this is where you can chat. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm actually going to take it over as presenter here. I'm just going to present my monitor, and this is quite funny because, you know, I've got a meeting inside a meeting inside a meeting, so it's a little bit like Inception for Skype for Business, right? If you look at that, it's a dream inside a dream inside a dream inside a dream. Okay, how many dreams? So if you look at my screen now, but my goal here is to try and show you how we would go about presenting that content. Okay, so if we said, all right, we're going to manage the content now. This button down here, which represents your screen, if I click on that, that says to me, how would you like to manage the content? So what do I want to present? If I've escalated from a voice to a video session, what am I going to present in the video? Well, I could present myself. I could present documents to co-author. I could present my desktop. I could present programs. I could present PowerPoints. I could see what content Trevor has proactively uploaded into our meeting. So you see where it says manage content there. I'm going to go manage content. Boom. And straight away here, manage content. Rolly's presenting monitor 3. That's because I've got multiple monitors running. Trevor has uploaded 365 and 365 Skype for Business, and Trevor has uploaded the timer. So I could choose to present any one of those 3 bits of content. At the moment, we can see that I'm presenting my monitor 3. If I clicked on that button, it would start presenting the PowerPoint again. What else can I do? On content, if I click on the more option, we have options to do things like whiteboards, polls, or Q&A. So if I created a poll just for today's meeting, and the poll could be, where are you? So let's call it, where's Waldo? Okay, all right. What state are you in? And I'm not talking about, we are not going to have denial as one of the states, okay? We'll start out with Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, and we're just putting this together very quickly. South Australia, WA,
Tasmania, don't forget them.
Tasmania.
And then just put other.
All right, I'll just put other, no offense to people living somewhere else. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to create that. Now look how quick and easy that was. And what should happen now is everybody, I've stopped presenting my desktop. You are now presented with the poll that I've just created, and that's it. This is what I love, people. This is interaction. Everybody's clicking on that. We've seen that live, okay? So as you're clicking on Victoria, I got 27% in Victoria, Queensland 29%. Victoria's going down. New South Wales is in the lead at 50%. It sounds like a horse race here, okay? Coming into the all right, but okay. Results.
Well done, New South Wales.
All right. Hey, well done, New South Wales. Okay.
Tasmania's got up there. They're more than Victoria.
All right. So if I change the results of the poll, I can say I can hide the results from attendees, or I can show the results of the poll to attendees. So again, I'm just going to jump out of that poll and present my desktop so you guys can see what I'm seeing. It's taking a moment to come up. I'm just looking at one of my moderators' machines over there. Fantastic. So from there we had the managed content. We looked at the poll. I could have done a whiteboard. Q&A. You see, the poll, I was just getting votes from you. If I wanted to ask a specific question, okay, we could start Q&A. Now look what's going to happen when I start Q&A, guys. I've got the presentation and a Q&A window. What I'm presenting, I can jump back from what I'm presenting to Q&A. So instead of using the chat session down the left-hand side of the screen during today's You Don't Know What You Don't Know, you guys can click across to the Q&A, ask a question. And what will this will track all of the questions. So what we want is we want buy-in from people, we want interaction, and we want to empower people. This gives everybody in the meeting a voice. So let's go. See who comes up with the best question, guys. Go for your badge. Everybody can do this simultaneously. So Christina, Catherine, Cara, Bobby, Andrew, Nathan, Mary, Michael, let's go. Jody, put some questions in there. Okay, so it looks like we've turned off IM. The reason why we've turned off IM is because we're using the Q&A window. So I'm not seeing many questions come up, guys. If you can see that, let's try and type a question in. I'm going to jump back to my presentation, and I'm actually going to I'm opening myself up for anything here, Trevor. I do realize that.
Yeah.
So we can see I'm still got my content up. Now you can see I've got Q&A, monitor 3, where's Waldo? Okay, my questionnaire, and I'm going to jump back to my PowerPoint. Boom. So if you click on presentation now, you should go back to PowerPoint. If you click on Q&A, then you should go back to the list of questions, and hopefully people are answering some of those. I'm liking it. Yes. Michael, thank you for the questions. Okay, somebody's talking about Groundhog Day today, and it is the 2nd of February, which is Groundhog Day in Canada and North America. The groundhog is also known as the woodchuck and is the largest member of the squirrel family. So there we go. Useless bits of information, but I was actually curious whether groundhog was like a kangaroo fox or something, or a drop bear or one of those fictitious Australian marsupials that foreigners like me get told about.
Leprechauns with you, Roland.
Unicorns are what I'm after.
No, leprechauns. No, I don't think so. You're not Irish, are you?
No, I want unicorns, not leprechauns. All right. Let's talk about scheduling a Skype meeting in Outlook. So, guys, one of the things we spoke about early on in the piece was the fact that Office 365, if we take a bit of a history lesson and we go back to the year 2000, all of the features and functions that were on Office 365 really started their life on an Exchange 2000 server. Okay, so we've got this very tight integration between Skype for Business, between Outlook, and between SharePoint. Okay, so when we want to schedule a meeting, the trick is to make sure Skype is started up before Outlook. It happens by default unless you mess with it. Okay, when you come in the morning, the first thing that should start on your machine should be Skype. Okay, everything else runs after Skype, but Skype should start up first. And the reason why Skype should start up first is if you are running Skype before you run anything else, what will happen, and I'm just going to show you this on my desktop quickly. I'm minimizing my meeting and I'm jumping into my Outlook, which is just sitting here in the background. Okay, so this is Outlook 2016 that I'm running, but if you're running 2013, 2010, even 2007, you get a similar sort of thing. Within Outlook, because of the tight integration between Outlook and Skype, we have some tabs here. Everyone's used to the reply all, forward. Look up there, reply with meeting, reply with instant message. These tabs are such productivity savers. Somebody sends you an email, you can simply reply with an IM, okay? So, all right, if I look at Nick sent me an email here regarding some fast track stuff, I can say I would like to reply with the meeting. At that point in time, I can choose to make it a Skype meeting. Okay, so I can choose to make that a Skype meeting. When I choose to make that a Skype meeting, I have meeting options where we can configure who is allowed to present, whether we want to disable IM, mute all attendees, block attendees' videos. This is very handy if you're working with multinational teams and people are joining your videos at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody wants, to see you waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Seriously, people are like, put your video on. And I'm like, guys, you're all in America. I'm in Australia. It's 2 in the morning. The last thing you want to do is see my video at this point in time, okay? So we can go through and we can customize our settings for each meeting at that point in time. So it's really this tight integration that helps us. All right, now just jump back to my meeting. Okay. All right. Okay, so I've stopped presenter at the moment, and I'm just going to jump back to my content and back to my presentation. So, guys.
So just Roland,
yes.
just on one thing, when we went
yes.
to the Q&A, I can't remember who it was. Someone just asked a question down the bottom where they talked about the dominate. The David was asking the question about.
HubOne, this is Matt Shoemaker speaking.
Dominated. Ooh, what happened there?
I'm not sure. Somebody was just unmuted. It's all right. Sorry,
yes,
what do you?
I'll just go mute him.
Mute all attendees. You see, that goes back to setting up our meeting priorities. All right. What were you asking? Sorry, Trevor.
Sorry. So David was saying that with the Q&A dominates the presentation, and just down the bottom there's a presentation and Q&A tabs that you can jump back and forth within there. So when Q&A is open, you can jump back to the presentation on there. So that was just one of the points that one of the guys was saying, and I missed it myself. So it was great.
Okay. All right, you need to choose the tab. All right, I see what what they're saying. Yes, you can go from Q&A back and forth. All right, so these are our Skype meeting options, guys. This is gonna drive down your travel costs, your T&E. Okay, if you say, well, guys, I could fly to Queensland, or we could just do this via a Skype meeting. Okay, now for those of you who haven't traveled very much, you might think it's very exciting to travel. Me, not so much, man. I've done too much traveling. I'm more than happy. You want to do it by a Skype meeting and save me a trip to Melbourne? Happy days. Let's go with that option. So for those of you who are sick and tired of traveling, I believe that Skype for Business will have a tremendous impact on your health and well-being. So the different options we can set for a meeting: who is a presenter, someone in my company, let me choose the presenters, and then whether you can, and I demoed this for you a moment ago, whether you want to disable video, IM, and so on and so forth. Okay, we can schedule meetings using the web app option and go in and turn this into an online meeting. It's slightly different in that it doesn't give you the Skype option that you get in the full-blown Outlook, but Outlook Web Access gives you an online meeting option, which I find to be quite beneficial. Guys, setting up audio devices is something
I find it a little bit difficult, I must admit.
Trev, you're not the only one, man. Seriously, people struggle with this quite often. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present my monitor again. When my monitor comes up, so just click on the if you're in Q&A, click on the presentation tab, and you should see my monitor coming up now. Okay, guys, so it's a little bit difficult, but it's not it's not super complicated. Bottom right-hand corner, you see a picture of a telephone with like a working cog, like a mechanism on it, right? Click on this telephone icon here, okay? And what we've got here is it's essentially a software. And so I can put this call on hold, I can transfer it, or I can look what devices I've got. At the moment, it's only picking up one device for me, which is a Blackwire 720M headset, okay? This is a USB headset plugged into my machine. If I had more devices configured, I could switch from one device to the next. So there's a couple of things you want to check. Firstly, you want to make sure that you have your playback devices or your recording devices are correctly configured in Windows themselves. And once you're in Windows, we will have these options for put the call on hold, transfer it, or the devices tab. And this devices tab just allows you to then choose which device you want to switch to. So some people are like, I can't hear properly because it's coming through my computer speakers and my computer microphone. Right, switch to the headset that you've got on your noggin at the moment. And with that, Trev, we had a session a while ago with the Plantronics boys talking about the difference in the quality of experience between headsets, and I find that to be a major thing. I see people saying, Skype for Business, I didn't have a great conferencing experience. And I'll say to them, well, what headset were you using? And they said, I was just using the one that came with my phone. The one that came with your phone is not designed to work with Skype for Business. So I would strongly recommend getting the right device. If you're going to be joining meetings, and I want you to be joining meetings, I want you to make sure you've got the right device to join a meeting correctly. It'll be a very different experience. So here we've got joining the audio and configuring the different audio devices, whether it's in Skype for Business web app or whether it's in the full-blown rich client. It's still...
So what's
very
the
similar.
Of this? You see, I see a few people are on the call and they're logged in as guests, whereas others are coming through with the presence available, and it's saying their external network and so forth. And that. What's the difference between each one of those?
The difference between them, okay, I'll say that certain people are joining up maybe using the web client or joining up as guests. They don't have Office 365 logons. The people that we've seen where we can see their presence and they're connecting up on an external network are currently using the E3 or the E1 SKU in Office 365 and are either using Skype web app to connect up. Alternatively, they're using full-blown Skype to connect up. Because we're all in Office 365, Trevor, we can set it up so that we trust each other. in what's called a federation. It's this trust relationship. That's why I was saying to you guys on the call, and I'm genuine about this. I want you to add in, Tristan at HubOne. I want you can see the boys at the top there, Matt, Julian, Nick, Trevor. Add somebody that you've dealt with at HubOne before, and I want you to just send them a little Skype message today saying, how are you going today, or whatever you want to say. But this federation allows you to extend your unified communications outside of your organization.
Right. Okay.
Next on Do Not Disturb. You see, he doesn't want you to talk to him. I think he's busy doing something. All right, I think that's us for today, isn't it, Trevor?
That is. We've covered off a few things. Is there any other questions? So before we jump off, has anybody had any other questions regarding Skype for Business? I think that often we'll get situations, Roland, where people have Skype for Business on their computer, but they still come in as a guest and those sort of things. Is that to do with how they accept the meeting and so forth? Because in Skype for Business, you also get the ability to see the meetings that are coming up today, and I find that if I click on that, then it opens up the right version rather than bringing in the guest one. Or does it override it and it controls it?
No, I think the best thing to do is to be logged. The first thing you do in the morning, guys, log on to Skype for Business. Second thing you do, log on to Yammer. Then start up Outlook and all of the other things. If you want to work properly with this new way of work and this modern way of work, start up Skype for Business first, Yammer second, and then we'll go from there. Whatever else you use, primarily Outlook or whatever after that. Trevor, I think Skype for Business needs to be up and running. That's the main thing. But what are we doing next week? Because we'll cover a bit of this off in next week. We'll look at Skype for Business in Office web apps next week, where we're going to look at tips and tricks and how to improve your productivity on the road when you don't have a full-blown rich Office client in front of you.
So using Word and Excel and that in the web version rather
in a browser. And guys, this isn't rocket science. Put your hand up if you're on the call and you used Outlook Web Access for the last 10 years or so. I want you to think about the technology that you use for OWA, Outlook Web Access, Webmail, call it what you like. Think about that technology applied to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Voila, web apps, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at. And that's what we're going to cover off next week. So, Trevor, I just want to say thank you very much for your time today. And thank you to everybody on the call. It's been an honor talking to you today. And hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. in this virtual meeting environment to learn a few more things about Office 365 and cover off a few more things about you don't know what you don't know. Thank you very much. Thank you, Trevor, and thank you everyone on the call.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland.
All right. Cheers, guys. Have a great day. Bye.